we're going to bring it up for probably the last time, hopefully. Yankees are still mad at the Dodgers, Blake. Yankees are still mad. We're still hearing some chatter. I know John Birdie, I believe he was on Foul Territory. Is that correct? He was on Foul
Yeah.
Territory talking about, the Dodgers and some comments with, uh, what's going on there. I don't exactly know who he was referencing, but just overall the Dodgers and how, the Yankees took on Kansas City. They took on Cleveland, made it to the World Series there. And he just didn't like the fact that the Dodgers were puffing their chest out, winning a World Series. They're basically treating them, paraphrasing, of course, basically saying like the Dodgers believe the Yankees just weren't fit to play in the World Series, weren't fit to be there. Like the Dodgers just steamrolled them. Where do you land on that? I know your exact thoughts on how the Dodgers team stacked up against the Yankees. And this is a safe space for you to peel that wall if you want to just let it rip for a little bit.
I mean, so yeah, John Birdie talked about it like they felt disrespected by what the Dodgers were saying. I think it all came from the podcast that they did right after, where a lot of the players were on and talking about that and said, like, the Yankees didn't play good defense, and we know we could took advantage of that. And then, so John Birdie said stuff. Brian Cashman said Joe Kelly's criticism of them seemed personal. Aaron Boone didn't like the quote unquote trash talk from the Dodgers players, but like,
Yeah.
my take on it is the same as like bat flipping and celebration. If you don't like it, play better and don't get beat. And then if you do, like, just move on. It's over, whatever. Like, don't take it personal. Don't listen to it. Be better next year. Like, that's all I really think about it from the Dodgers standpoint there. Like, if you want to trash talk, go for it. You won. You were the best team there. And if we're being honest here, the only game the Yankees won in the World Series was the one the Dodgers punted and basically gave them. Like, they said, we're going to give you this win because we want to win the next game. So take this win, we'll move on, and we'll win the next one. And then in that next one, the Yankees took a 5-0 lead, and they didn't win that game. So, like, play better if you want to win and you don't want people trash talking your game after it. And the Yankees lost because of the defense there. Aaron Judge dropped the ball. Garrett Cole didn't cover first base, and things just fell apart for them. So if you're going to say like you're disrespecting us by saying our defense was bad, you can't go out there and play bad defense and then get mad when the other people are saying your defense was bad. Like, it all comes down to, if you don't want them trash talking it, then play better and do things you're supposed to do. Everyone knew the American League was the weaker side. Like, a lot of people felt like the NLDS
Damn
between
right.
the Dodgers and Padres was the World Series this year.
Yeah.
Like, the Royals were fine. The Guardians were a fine team, but none of them compared to the Dodgers, the Mets, the Padres. Like, the NL was just on a different level this year, and that's just how it goes. Like, the Yankees still complaining about it. It just seems like they're really upset. I get it. You lost the World Series kind of embarrassingly. The Dodgers were a much better team in the World Series, so just play better next year and stop complaining about them talking that they won.
John Birdie had 66 at bats in the regular season this last year. He had 11 at bats in the postseason for the Yankees, and he didn't even make the World Series roster because of an injury. That's not his, that's not his fault. I understand he's a part of a team. I understand some of the stuff about if you want to say the Dodgers had to win, game one in a walk-off fashion, game two, the bullpen nearly blew, whatever. If you're asking yourself, Blake, and you're looking at the three teams ranking, we talked about this. The conversation I'm talking about, chat. Blake and I had a conversation about like ranking the three teams the Dodgers faced in the postseason as far as like the power rankings there. I think one, it's the San Diego Padres. Two, in other ways, you could argue the New York Mets. And then three, it's the New York Yankees, flat out, just because of I didn't see any matchup with the New York Yankees that they beat the Dodgers in. I just didn't. I'm not afraid of wasn't afraid of their lineup. After the first few, drops off. Starting rotation, Garrett Cole, then who else? Bullpen, no. So that's what I can see. That's kind of where it's at. Like, I'm not looking at the Yankees and saying that they were the number one matchup the Dodgers face in the postseason by any means. Zero chance. Chat, you guys were in here too talking about after the division series against the San Diego Padres there. And that was it. You could see the relief on everybody that was the mountaintop. And it was we were talking about on here, we were pretty open that once they got over the San Diego Padres, that was kind of it. I don't see anybody that can stop the Dodgers, and nobody did. So as far as like the conversations that New York Yankees players and making remarks about what Dodgers have said, sure, a lot of it's Dodgers players puffing out their chest, and after the fact they won the series and go from there, right? Like that's a lot of what the Dodgers can do. But to what Chris Taylor said, the Yankees, down their leg, man. They did. They did. They in those biggest moments, you saw the bonehead moves right in front of your face. Stanton getting thrown out at home, countless infield errors, countless throwing errors, at bats that just flat out looked uncompetitive. So it's just that's where it's at. It's over talking about it. There's nothing more to say. Yankees lost. Their biggest weaknesses got exposed. That's it. And yeah, NS brings up Cole putting it first is the memory he'll die laughing at. Yeah. In a nutshell. In a nutshell. All the talent right there, but they just couldn't put it together.
Yeah, they completely fell apart. They had multiple chances to win and just handed the Dodgers the games pretty much every time. And I think the funniest part is that it's John Birdie being the player talking about this. Like, I had no clue he was on the Yankees. I thought he was still just on the Marlins over there, kind of being irrelevant. And then, like, I found out he was on the Yankees talking about it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Did he even make the roster? I don't remember him. And I found out, yeah, he was hurt and didn't play. So I don't know. It just feels like a very weird player to come out and talk about it when you didn't really contribute to the team at all. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. So chat, that's where we're at. I've no problem doing it. I've had, countless conversations with people in the media, sphere, just like the same thing. Yankees fans, I've talked to them, same thing too. Yankees content creators, same exact conversation. They understand what they saw. They're just as frustrated as that, but it's just I get players trying to clap back. But John Birdie is not a member of the New York Yankees anymore. I think he's a Chicago Cub now. It's just the series was over. The series was done. 3-0, you're one game away from being swept, and that's just how it goes. The games the Dodgers lost against the Mets and the Yankees were ones that it was just like a punted series, like a punted game, essentially. That's just how it was. So close the book on that. We'll
I will.
move along.
I'll close the book with this. I will say, like, for people who don't know about Birdie and that much, like, him talking about this is like Taylor Trammell talking about how much better the Dodgers were and how they just destroyed the Yankees. Like, Trammell took 5 at bats with the team, and like, no disrespect to him or anything, but it's just not the kind of player like you're gonna put much stock into them going out and talking about it. Like, he's gonna get his ring and all that,
Taylor
but
Trammell, man.
like, he was on the roster for a bit, and then he didn't do anything in the postseason because they got rid of him. And like, no disrespect to Trammell, but like Birdie, you're kind of in that same camp there. Like, you just don't have a lot of room to talk about this. If he was on the roster and playing, sure, share your thoughts, whatever. But I don't know. It just seems very weird for a player that was not relevant to the series at all to really talk about it and get upset by it. Just my view.
I will say the last thing about the New York Yankees, they had a fine offseason. I don't agree with their projections there. I think they'll do a little bit better than 88.9 wins. I think they'll be right around, 92, 93. I think they're better off than they were this last year as far as depth pieces wise. Come on. Come on. They're just clearly not doing enough. And it was really rich. It was really rich of, Cashman, Steinbrenner coming out saying some stuff. I know, those back end parts of the quotes are giving credit, to the Dodgers like Steinbrenner had. Giving credit to what the Dodgers are. Not many teams can do what the Dodgers are doing. You're the damn New York Yankees. You can go sign whoever you want. Let's keep it a buck. That's just how it is. You got beat. You got beat in the offseason. You didn't want to pay Yamamoto $1 more than Garrett Cole. Yamamoto shoved. We know how this goes. Yeah.
I do think Cole's point here is relevant too, real quick. Like, Dodgers wouldn't be talking like this if fans weren't trolling. Like, everyone, well, first man. They got 2017 stolen from them. They should have won that. And then 2020, it was the Mickey Mouse ring. Like, no one counts it or considers it a real championship. You're gonna trash talk that for years and then like expect the Dodgers to not talk trash back. Like, no, they've won 2 in 5 years now, and they're gonna talk about it now. They proved that they can win it, and like, you didn't think 2020 was good enough, so they did it again, and now they're saying, yeah, we're good enough.
Yeah. Nomo, yeah. I mean, I did a little article about the Steinbrenner comments too. Brought up like at the very bottom of the article on Dodger Blue talking about that. I was like, yeah, the team didn't want to pay Yamamoto $1 more than Garrett Cole because you just didn't believe it. They just didn't. They just could not fathom that someone was going to make more than Garrett Cole. Seems just about as ridiculous. If you know he's a talented player, seems about as ridiculous as the facial hair thing. Give it up. It's done. Stop this. It's 2025. Let's not do it. Come on. What are we talking about here? But